It's time, ladies and gentlemen. Here is the podcast that is all about intellectually immature nonsense.
Very particular set of skills.
And by God, this is the BS.
Uncensored.
All right, here it is, episode 22 of the Bs Uncensored Podcast. My name is Jason Bailey. Thanks for being here. There's NickyD.
That is me.
And maybe Nelson will be joining us here soon. A little bit of different setting if you're watching the video version of this, is we're doing it in the old school Golden Scissors Studios.
Throwback.
Yeah, throwback. All kinds of fucking issues going on.
The most vacation I've had since I started this business. I will say that.
And I tell you, I've been in this business almost 4 times longer than you. It's the most vacation I've ever had. And that's a true story. I've never seen anything like this. It's the oddest thing ever. I feel so fucking lazy, just because of, who I am. People say, Bailey, relax,
I said that to my friend yesterday. I said, if I don't go back to work, I'm going to start getting lazy. Like just laying around here doing nothing, it gets contagious.
It does. It does. So like what's happening, because the diehards, the two peers, blow us up when the podcast is not uploaded right after the radio show, or the uncensored's not uploaded. And of course, the mindset is always, well, first thing everybody goes to is
Blame me.
Well, they blame you for not putting it up. Yeah.
Blame me.
That's the first thing. And then the second thing is Bailey got suspended again.
Yes.
That's always it. And then the third thing is you're fired.
Yes.
Because it's only a matter of time. And so it's not, I don't invite, I swear to God, please trust me when I say I don't invite this stuff in my life. I really, really don't. Nikki, as my witness, even saw today what I have to go through.
Yes.
Was not my fault. Right?
Right.
Okay.
I agree with you. Today was not your fault.
Without going into detail.
Right. I'm not going into any details. I'm just going to say I agree.
Makes you feel a little bit uncomfortable. I understand. But but like I just ask a question and then I roped into an altercation.
Yes.
What do I do? What is it that I'm doing?
I don't know. I've been thinking about that because I just watch the things play out and I watch how people react to you. And I've watched these things for a while. And in my mind, I always am thinking like, is there something I could suggest to him to maybe do a little bit different? Or
because it's my fault, right? It's always my fault.
Right. It's always your fault. It's always how you're perceived by people. And even today, I'm like, I don't really know what to tell you. I don't know what you can do different.
So you're starting to understand.
I don't know.
You're starting to see it.
I do. Okay. I do.
I mean, I was thinking about this we've had a lot of time. There's been a lot of things going on. We're going to cover as much as we can here in this podcast. But I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, okay, well, where'd the heat start with this person? It was because I suggested taking a picture down off of social media. That's how that started.
Okay.
And then how did the heat start with this person? Well, I told a joke that I've been telling for decades that didn't go over well. It fell flat.
Right.
And like, I'm supposed to know if you're thin skinned. Like,
I don't think any of your jokes have worked for you here. Like none of them. People do not like your jokes.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that.
So, I mean, the first thing, if we want to change anything, is you just can't tell these people any jokes.
Well, see, that's the thing. I'm old enough and I've been doing this long enough. I'm not changing for anyone.
And see, that's what I know too.
Yeah.
So then we're right back to square one.
Well, no, I'm not back to anywhere. I don't give a shit. Like,
well, I'm just saying, if we're brainstorming the things here, is what I'm saying, because that's what we're doing right now. We're just brainstorming. We're not saying anything's changing. Just a brainstorm.
It's like you hear the excuse. It's not me, it's you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's not me, it's them.
It's not me, it's you. It's not you, it's me.
I'm writing a fucking book on this.
You are.
Because it is true. It really is true. And then like, what do you do to get it back? That'd mean you'd have to go like on this apology tour, but you only apologize for things that you should apologize for.
No, the first thing you'd have to do to get it back is you'd have to actually care that it was lost, which you don't.
I don't, and nor should I.
So,
right?
Right.
You would be the first to say, no, you shouldn't.
No.
I mean, with the way you are, right?
Yeah, I don't apologize.
Yeah, right. Well, I'll apologize. I really will. And sometimes
I don't often.
And I'll even apologize if I don't really need to apologize. But I have to be put in a situation where someone has to be, big enough, let's just say, to confront me, not confront, because that's a negative word,
Right.
to just come up and say, hey, look, that, fell flat. I didn't appreciate that.
Right.
Look, you approach me like that, not a problem. I'd say the first thing out of my mouth, like, oh my God, I am so sorry. I apologize. I did not mean any, because there's no malice behind anything I do.
I definitely believe that wholeheartedly. And I think the problem is a lot of people don't have I don't want to say balls, but they just don't have it in them to say how they really feel. So they'll stand and they'll smile and they'll grin and they'll be like, and then the minute that you walk away, they're like, oh, I don't like what she did, or I don't like what she said. And then I'll hear about it weeks later, sometimes months later, sometimes years later. And I think the same thing you do. Like, why didn't you just say something? Like, right. I'm not above saying, my bad, or I didn't mean to offend you, or this is what I meant by that, but you took it this way. It happens all the time.
Well, it does. It's the story of my life. It's wherever I go, and it's the baggage I carry. And I'm starting to wear it as a badge of honor. I've gotten to a point in my life where, the people that I love and I trust, you being one of them, is, I go to y'all and I say, hey, look, this is a situation. What do you think? And I've come to you lately, especially with a lot of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I listen and I take it in. So for people that say I don't listen to people or take advice from people, they just don't know me. They're full of shit. But I listen to like my agent and my wife and even my daughter. My daughter gave me a speech the other night. Oh my God. It was so grown up. Like I just
you told me about that.
I just sat there and I listened to this speech and I'm like, who are you?
Where did you come from?
And and the first thing I wanted to do, God's honest truth, was pull the old, you're only 18. You don't know what you're talking about. But I didn't. And I listened and I was like, oh my God, this girl at 18 is so much smarter than I am. She sees the world through clearer eyes than I ever did at 18.
Right.
And, and I started to cry. Like I started to tear up. And she said, why are you crying? And I said, because you're so, like, I take pride in knowing that I helped raise this.
Right. Right.
You are going to be such a successful, I'm done. No one gives a shit about me. I'm going to be 49 in June. I'm washed up. I'm done. And that's fine. But my daughter is so smart, so beautiful, so strong. She's such a warrior, and she's going to do such good things in this world.
Mm-hmm.
And I at least get to, at some point in time when she has those milestones of success, she'll say, thanks to my mom and dad.
Right.
And I'm a part of that.
Right.
And that's so much bigger and so much more enjoyable to know that she's going to have those accolades in her life, and I was a small part of that.
Right.
Than any accolade I could possibly have in my life right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've, the milestones that I've made for myself in my career, I've pretty much missed them all. I made goals for myself at 40 this, at 35 this, missed them all.
Oh, okay. You didn't reach what you were setting out to achieve.
Not for lack of trying, but they just missed, I couldn't achieve them, so now I'm coming up on 10 years later than that big goal. And it's like, where do you go from here? Where do you go from? Well, I can tell you, according to my doctor, where I go. I die.
You still have plenty of life left to live. You just can't be extremely stressed out, or then you might die.
So here's the thing. It was briefly mentioned. Well, let me tell you why we weren't on the air. Monday, we weren't on the air. It's funny because all of you two peers in Georgia and Florida, you're like, why the fuck are you guys not on the air? You're so lazy like that. I'm like, it's President's Day. It's a holiday. And they're like, so you've always been on the air on President's Day.
Right. Not anymore.
Let me tell you something. It's definitely the company that we work for. Like if it's a holiday, you're off. Mm-hmm. And that's just a company policy. It's all good. I also think it's probably a little bit of a California thing as well, where, their work ethic here is a lot different than the East Coast. A lot different. Like they shut shit down at 5 p.m. And if you send an email, you ain't getting it back until the next day. If you're lucky, so it's just a different lifestyle that you have to adapt to. It's just, you can't change the world. So we were off for the holiday, and then we were coming back to work on Tuesday. And then we get the information that our board op is sick. He's like in the hospital.
Yes.
And I still don't know why.
Neither do I. And I've asked multiple people. Nobody knows.
And they're weird about the HIPAA stuff. The HIPAA
violations.
Like, well, you can still say why a guy's in the hospital.
I would have thought that like he personally reached out to you or text you. Like I don't have his number, so I couldn't reach out and say, "Hey, are you okay?" Or I couldn't do that. So that's why I thought you knew or you all reached out or something.
And I got to tell you, I was upset about that. He didn't reach out to me.
Oh, you were.
I was a little hurt.
Okay.
My feelings were hurt.
I can see that.
I was like, why didn't you reach out to me? So I don't know. Now I'm sitting here, like, is it a mental hospital? Is it a real hospital? Is it a pet hospital?
No idea.
What kind of hospital are you in?
Right. What happened to
you? What can I do for you?
Mm-hmm.
Like, my biggest concern is I'm worried for the man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want to make sure he's okay. And if there's anything that I don't know who he has in his life, to bring him clothes, to bring him a toothbrush, does he need somebody to bring him, a phone charger? Like any of those things I would do in a heartbeat, but nobody's giving me any information.
Yeah, nothing.
So he's the one that pushed all the buttons because Nelson decided to up and haul out to Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
So the backup plan is Kyle. And
right.
Kyle's been out sick.
Yes.
And so he'll be back on for Wednesday. So we should be decently good running until we find a replacement that we're searching for.
Right.
So like, this is just so nutty.
It is.
I just compared other shows that I've done, and there's always been like a backup plan B and a C and a D, and there's just no backup plans.
No, it's like I'm waking up now. Before, this has never even been a thought, but now I'm waking up like, am I going to get a message that says I don't have to go to work today? Am I going to be told to stay home or what?
Right. You don't know if you're going in or not.
I'm like, should I get dressed or not?
And I'm sick. I got something. I don't know what the hell's wrong with me. Whatever
it is, keep it, because I don't want to be back sick. There's too much sickness for me.
I can't stay out of the bathroom. My voice is a little, I got a little thing going with the throat. I've been coughing up stuff. I started taking a Z-Pack. I found one in the closet. I was like, I should probably take this.
Did you make sure it wasn't expired?
Nah, you know what? Drugs I don't think ever expire.
They definitely do expire.
I don't know. I think that's folklore.
Oh my gosh, you can't take expired medicine.
I don't know if there's truth to that.
Taking an expired Z-Pack.
Do you like my new camera? You see that? It's a little bit different look. I got a remote control that can move it and shit.
I'm gonna tell you what I like. I like how your camera is making me look extremely cute. So I don't know what magic is working up there, but I like it.
Well, that's what it is. It's the VR cute camera.
It's making my hair look all shiny and refreshed and new and everything.
It's the BS cute camera. That's what it is.
I know my hair don't look this shiny.
Yeah, it's an extra. I got a button for extra shiny hair.
I need this camera in my house.
Like it has, like toys that'll say ages 4 to 8. This camera says
hair weave shine.
Great for African American women's hair. That's what this camera says.
I like it.
So I go to the doctor. If you guys missed the other week, I think I mentioned when we were doing the broadcast at Sky River, and just kind of rolled by it, and I might have mentioned it again, but I don't think anybody's taking me seriously on this because of it's just
few people.
Really?
I think a few people were taking you serious. I thought I saw some people give you some well wishes and some ideas of things to do to remain stress-free online.
Yeah, but this is serious, but I think it's the way that I'm telling it, because, I kind of joke about it because I can't be all doom and gloom. That's not fun radio. So if you missed the story is I've had these lines in my fingernails for a couple months now. Had no idea what it was. I thought it might have been because it was cold in the studio.
Freezing.
Thought it was ink. I had no idea what it was. And then I noticed that they went across all my fingers. They're still there. And they're at the very top of my fingers. And I'm like, this is so odd. This is going to be like one of those things. I'm telling you. They're like, oh my God, you have the Ethiopian finger virus or some crazy shit, and I'm going to be the patient zero. So I end up going to my doctor, and my doctor kind of olays it. He's just like, it's probably just this. I was like, okay, doc. And then he goes, let's go through your blood work. So he starts to go, well, this is not good. Well, this is great. I'm like, tell me how to fix it. That's all I want to know. I don't want to sit here for a long period of time. You sound extremely knowledgeable. He's a great guy. When he would walk out, his wife would tag in, and we would, great experience. Just give me some fucking answers. That's all I want. Tell me how to fix this problem.
And then he gave you answers pulled up in chart form.
Well, he eventually, I kind of pushed him. I was like, is there a test or something that you can do, or send me someplace for a test? And he says, I got an idea. Let's go into the other room. And we go into the other room, and I'm expecting this big machine. and it's literally his laptop, and he's got this thing plugged into his laptop that he puts on my finger.
Oh, okay.
And he says, lay down, be still for 3 minutes. I'll be back. I said, oh, okay. So I put it on my finger, and I'm still for 3 minutes, and the thing beeps, and it says, testing is done. A couple minutes goes by. I'm like, dude, where are you at? So I end up taking off my finger, and I get up, and I'm like, Doc, I'm done. He's like, oh, I'm coming in here. He comes in here. He walks in, and he looks at his laptop screen. He hits a couple buttons, and he looks up, and the results are there. And I'm not looking. I'm just listening to him.
Uh-huh.
And he goes, whoa. In my years of practicing medicine, I've never seen results like this. Now, I wanted to believe they were so great that I'm just the exceptional patient.
Whoa does not sound great. And I will reiterate that I think that is so unprofessional of a doctor to do that.
To do what?
Whoa. Oh, what? Like, that is one thing I feel like that's doctor one-on-one. You don't freak out your patients when you're having to give them bad news.
Well, I was being optimistic, and I was thinking that they were great news. It was great news, but it was not. There's a portion of this chart that tests for stress, and there are 3 lines in this box that go left to right, and it's mental stress and 2 other stressors, and then one of them is like good stress, where you're fighting the mental stress and the bad stress. That was non-existent on the chart.
It's like a blurb.
Yeah. The mental stress went off the box.
Yep.
Like that's what he was woeing about. It went all the way to the right and even past the little line of the box. And he says, look, I don't know for a fact that that's what's going on with your nails. He goes, it could be, your body could be reacting to this. He goes, but what I can tell you by your results is that if your next stressor, you're going to have a heart attack. It's not a matter of if, but when you're going to have a heart attack.
Right.
He's like, you got to change some stuff up. And he's like, go plant-based diet and all these other things and blah, 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 blah. He's like, you eat too much animal. That's what he called it. You eat too much animal. I'm like, this is a California thing. They're trying to program me. I think they're trying to program me. This was just after I did a fucking amazing brisket on my big green egg too. And I got leftovers in the, so why do I have a thumbs up in here?
Because I think when you put your thumb up, you're activating your emojis.
Is that really? I've never seen that before. Oh, shit.
There you go.
Oh, okay. I never knew that. You did a heart and you can do that on the Zoom thing? Oh, shit. I don't want that shit on air. Get it off. So I talk with my hands.
Well, you're going to keep seeing emojis.
A little extra something for less work for Buddy, I guess. Anyway, so I leave, I'm kind of freaked out. I've never had bad news from a doctor before. So of course I call my wife. She's freaking out and we're trying to figure stuff out. And, all I can think of is Nate this whole entire time.
Why do you think about Nate?
I call it because I like if he heard this, he'd be like, fucking told you so. I knew he would. I like, Nate and I don't talk as much now as we used to, but I just know it doesn't mean I love him any less, but I just know that he's going, should have moved to fucking Mexico. I told you.
Should have just been chilling on the beach.
Have you ever seen my social media? It doesn't look like I have a stressor line going off the chart, does it?
Not at all. Living life, feeling good.
It's just not my makeup. We're, 2 different people. I can't do that. I mean, I could, but I don't like every day. I subscribe to the Gene Simmons way of living is that every day, unless you're getting ahead in life, you're not winning. But then you kind of have to take a step backwards when you're in a situation like this and go, what does that actually mean? What is it? It means that means something different to everybody.
It does. Absolutely. Something different to everybody. And then I think over the course of your life, the things that you've done, the things you have accomplished, even though you're saying you don't feel like you've hit goals, I feel like you've put yourself in a pretty good position that you could go chill out in Mexico on a beach and live a stress-free life for the rest of your life and be fine, believe it or not.
Yeah, but there's things that I haven't accomplished.
Like what?
In this business. I just I want to be great at something in my life. I've never been one to be great at something. And I've never been the man. I've always been the friend of the man or like the best friend of the guy, or I've been decent at something or good at something. I've never been great at something. I want to be great at something.
Okay.
And I feel that I'm pretty damn good at this. Great, I don't know. I think great's all in the eye of the beholder. But I want to be acknowledged of being great for something. And and I love, number one, dad cups and all that stuff. I do. I love it, but you know what I'm talking about? I want to be recognized. And it's not an ego thing, it's an accomplishment thing. Because no one in my family has ever been, no offense to my family, but no one in my family has been great at something.
I get what you're saying. You want to reach the top of the mountain, the top of the stairs like Rocky, and yay, I did it.
That's exactly what I want to do.
Yeah. I mean, I feel the same way. I have those same goals and aspirations. But when I get to a certain point of my life and I feel like maybe I've done all I can do and it just wasn't what I was supposed to do, then I definitely can guarantee you that I'll go in a different direction. I'm not going to spend my entire life trying to get to the top of the stairs. Like at some point, I'm going to have a realization like, you did what you could. You didn't make it to the stairs. What you going to do now? Because I'm not going to die right on the step before.
See, but in my eyes, and no offense to what you just said, because that's your thing, and bless your heart. But my thing is that would be quitting, and
So you want to die on the steps?
I want to die on the steps.
Yeah, I don't.
Trying.
I get you.
You see what I'm saying?
That's why you say it means something different to everybody. I don't want to die on the steps. I want to go as much as I can, as hard as I can, and then bow out gracefully.
So the doctor suggests a couple things. One thing for supplements, he says take Celtic salt. So I order Celtic salt off Amazon, $9.99 a bag.
How are you taking that?
I take a little pinch and I put it under my tongue and I wash it down with water.
Gotcha.
Still got the shit on my fingernails.
I see it.
All right. The next thing is he said breathing exercises. So there's this guy, I think his name's like Wim Hof or something. He's like the big guy for breathing. And he references, he's on Joe Rogan's podcast. I'm like, well, I guess that's the bar. And so I'm going to take his advice and take Rogan's podcast advice. And so my wife is set up in one of our rooms we built into a gym in our house that I'm going to learn how to breathe. I'm going to take like 20 minutes a day and I'm going to go in there and do some meditation and do some breathing exercises.
Have you started yet?
No, because I don't know how to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what have you done with all your time off?
Okay. The third thing, I can answer that. I can answer that question, Nikki. I've gotten back into playing poker.
Okay.
Okay. Now, it might sound silly, but to me, poker, this sounds so silly. Poker is life.
What does that mean?
At any given time, at any given poker table, there are 9 people, including yourself.
Okay.
Every person represents a sect of life. No one's the same. So you can go around a poker table and you can go, my theory on people is that we all come from a mold. There's a handful of molds. God made a handful of molds of people. And out of those handful of molds, everybody created their own characteristics, but there's still a common thread with each mold. So when you meet someone, you go, oh, that reminds me of Bill.
Right.
Okay. But you know what's different is Bill doesn't do this, Bill doesn't do this, but God, that looked, so you can get a good read on that guy because you know how Bill works with little variables.
Right.
Okay. At a poker table, you go through each seat, and you're not playing the cards, you're playing the hand. You're playing the person. So you're going, okay, that guy's aggressive. That guy's here to have fun. That guy's new. That girl is trying to be a pro, but she's not there yet, far from it. You can kind of, like she reminds me of Sarah and you can go around and do that. So you go, well, how is that a de-stressor? I sat over this long weekend at a poker table for a combined 24 hours.
That is a long time. By yourself?
Well, with 8 other people.
I mean, Rach wasn't there with you, is what I'm saying.
No, she can come. She can sit behind me and talk to me and watch and stuff.
Oh, okay.
But she doesn't. Like, on Monday, she had to work. But Saturday I go and I play in this tournament and I played horribly and I busted out. So I went and played a cash game and I'm there at 9:30 in the morning and I didn't leave until, close to midnight.
That is a long time for you to stay and play poker.
But what else would
Is that money? Are you losing money doing that?
Well, this past weekend I didn't win money. The two weekends prior, I did win money.
So wouldn't that make you a little stressed out?
That's the catch, is that if you're worried about losing money, then yes, it'll stress you out. But you got to set a budget. right? You don't want to sit there and continue to go to the ATM and go, well, I'm down $5,000. You know, that sucks. You know, I would never put myself in that predicament.
Right.
You know, so like I have a budget. I have so many buy-ins, and if I'm out of those buy-ins, then I'm out the door. And
but you were able to continuously play for 24 hours?
Yeah, well, on Saturday, I only bought in once for $300, and I ended up leaving with
700.
Yeah, so you know, you're like, well, $400 and fucking 15 hours. It's not a lot. No, but what else would I be doing? I mean, I'd be spending time with my family. The good thing right now is I don't feel too guilty because my wife is taking her California real estate classes.
Oh, okay. So she's a little busy anyway.
So, what would I be doing? I would be in my office working.
Right.
I would be checking emails. I'd be sending emails. I'd be doing graphics. I'd be doing video stuff. I'd be doing this. I'd be doing that. I'd be doing this.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a stressor. Or I'd be laying in my bed watching Criminal Minds or Law and Order SVU and not really accomplishing anything, even though I'd be relaxing.
Right.
But this way I can relax. I can work my brain. I can meet people,
talk to other people,
promote the show,
mm-hmm.
So, but it's relaxing. I have a soda pop, they haven't said anything about me dipping at the table, which is great. This is the studio I can dip in. See, it's in my mouth now. I'm not going to get in trouble. Y'all don't have to send paper towels to the house. Thank you very much. So that's part of this de-stressor mode that I'm in.
Right.
Is the poker.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
I mean, the way that you just broke it down, it does make sense. It just, for me, that would be something that stresses me out, but I'm not a gambler and I don't know how to play those games. So yeah, that would stress me out to lose money. But if it's not stressing you out, then that's good.
Yeah. But what about if you win money?
That would make you feel good. But I mean, even if you won money and you're going to go back and play every couple of days, you're still prone to lose it again.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it depends on how you play. Let me tell you, there was this guy. So then I went on President's Day because we were off on Tuesday. Mm-hmm. So Rachel's at work and I was at the gym when I got the text message that we weren't working on Tuesday. And I was like, well, shit, now what am I going to do? And like, I had gotten up early. I was like, I'm putting in a nice long workout. I'm going to relax because working out de-stresses me as well.
Yes, it does.
So I was like having this nice workout. I was in there for like an hour and a half. I was feeling good. I was sweating. I was like, this is probably one of the best workouts I've had I can remember. Then I get the text message and I'm like, now what am I going to do? Like, I've got the entire day and night.
Yeah.
So I called Rach and I told her, and she's like, well, why don't you go play poker? And I was like, okay. Like, she's an enabler.
She is. She's like, go play poker. Don't worry about it.
And I check in with her all the time. And she's like, no, have fun. Because I mean, the damn place is 9 minutes from my house.
Right.
And she's like, no, have fun. She's like, we're fine here. And I'm like, now in my own head, I'm going, maybe she doesn't want me there.
They don't want me at home. I knew you were going to say that. If she tells you to stay stress-free, have fun, you're like, no, you don't want me at home.
You should yearn for my company.
For my company, you want me at the house. You get home now. Don't you play poker?
Yeah. What you don't want me there? What is there a problem? So I'm justifying it by this California real estate license thing. So anyway, that's what I'm doing. And so I don't have a heart attack. Like, I don't want to have a heart attack.
We don't want you to have a heart attack either, because that would suck.
Yeah. I mean, Cadillac Jack back in Atlanta, he had a heart attack. Remember that?
He did. Mm-hmm. I had forgot all about him having a heart attack. Well, my family, it's a history of my family of heart attacks. So my grandmother, my mom's mom died of a heart attack. My mom's sister died of a heart attack. My mom had a heart attack. So like, I try to stay very far away from heart attacks, because when my grandmother had her heart attack, I was holding her in my arms. So it's a little traumatic. I don't want anybody else I know to have a heart attack.
Your grandmother died in your arms?
She didn't die. She had her heart attack in my arms.
Holy shit. What was it like?
So she already had both of her legs amputated, and I was taking care of her, me and my sister. And this particular day, she had been feeling kind of down because my grandmother was really young. She was only 67. And she was one of those people who was free-spirited. She was used to being out all the time and going here, going there. And then boom, she goes to the hospital. She gets sick and they take off both of her legs. Like, it happened overnight. So she was really depressed. She was now kind of in the house all the time, where she was used to being outside. So I had started getting her to come outside a little bit. and I was taking her to church. It was making her feel better. So on this particular day, she missed church, and my pastor was going to come to the house and see her. So it made her feel better. So I was trying to get her dressed so that she'd be ready to go, and she was presentable when the pastor came to our house. So I was lifting her out of her wheelchair onto the toilet, because that's how I used to give her quick baths. And when I lift her up, her eyes just rolled into the back of her head, and her body went limp. So I didn't know what was happening. And I just screamed for my sister, because my sister's a nurse. And I'm like, something's going on with grandma. You need to call 911. So my sister comes into the bathroom, and she's like, she's having a heart attack. So she calls 911. The people are telling me what to do on the phone, like, keep her this way, keep her that way. Is she breathing? So now I'm making sure she's breathing. So by the time the ambulance got there, she had regained her consciousness enough that she can talk a little bit. And my daughter and my nephew, they were just kind of scared, and they were trying to hold her hand when they had her on the stretcher. And I just remember her telling them, like, you guys don't cry, grandma will be back. And unfortunately, she never came back, because when she went to the hospital, they were going to have to do surgery and put another stent in her heart, but she didn't make it.
That's what they did to Cadillac Jack. I think they put a stent in his heart. I don't even know what that means.
So when you have a heart attack, it constricts, like your vein closes up. That's what gives you the heart attack. And the stent is like this little round tube thing that they put in to open your vein back up so the blood can flow through it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Know a lot about it.
Yeah.
So when my mom had her first heart attack, she was in her 30s.
What? Really?
And when my aunt, my mom's sister, she died, she was in her 30s.
Wow. But your mom lived.
My mom is still alive. Yes.
Yeah, mama did. Yeah.
But my mom also lives a very stress-free life most of the time. Like if something starts to stress her out, like she just will put in her mind that she doesn't care about it.
Oh, she wasn't stress-free the other day on the air.
No, you stressed her out.
I didn't.
You stressed her out. So when stuff starts stressing her out, she'll just tune it out.
Why am I getting blamed for this?
You stressed her out. My nephew is stressing her out. She has a lot of stuff stressing her out right now.
I did nothing.
It is.
You is friends with a nice lesbian girl. I just thought that there might be a connection for friendship.
I know what you thought, but like stuff like that gets her a little stressed out. So
how am I supposed to know that?
Yeah. Well, I told you, now you know.
You did go out on your date though, didn't you?
It was not a date, but I did go out with him this week.
I had a great time.
We had a great time, yeah.
Got some new friends.
I do.
Did Andrea go too?
She did not. She was busy. So it was just me, Kristen, and
Lacey.
Yeah. The reason why I'm pausing is because she said that we've been saying her name wrong.
Oh my God. Is it one of those California things where it's
Christine?
Oh.
And we've been saying Kristen.
It was on the paper as Kristen.
Well, I wrote it how I thought it was supposed to be.
Let me guess. That's my fault.
I wrote it how I thought it was supposed to be.
Let me guess. That's my fault.
But yeah. So she said Christine or Carrie. I said I'm just start calling her Carrie because I can remember Carrie. I can't remember Kristen or Christine. I don't know if what I'm saying wrong.
It's like everybody out here in California. It's like, my name's Stanley, spelled with a C.
Right.
Like, what?
My hairdresser, her name's Asia. She has a J in it. Yeah. I'm like, how am I supposed to know that's what that means?
Right. California birth certificates should be a board game called Mindfuck.
Right.
That's what it should be. Every person, like 90% of the people that live in California, their names don't match and they're simple names like Sarah, spelled with a K.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
It's always some crazy letter thrown in there. And I'm like, how am I supposed to know this? How you spell this? And that's what it means.
Yeah. They're laughing at us because we don't know.
Right.
And then they get offended.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't say their name right.
Yeah, so that's what she said. You guys weren't saying my name right on air. I'm like, what's your name? I'm asking her this while I'm out with her, right? Doing something. What's your name? I think she said it's Christine because she equated it to somebody famous. You know somebody famous named Christine?
Christina Aguilera.
Nah, she said some kind of movie, some kind of scary movie or something.
Oh, Christine the movie.
Oh, that's what it's called, Christine the movie. Okay, see, right? I don't know what that is. I've never heard of it.
I think so. Yeah, the car.
About right. Nelson isn't Carrie. Here. There's nobody. I know Carrie, but she said Christine, I think, is a movie too.
Yeah, there's a horror movie, Christine.
Okay, so yeah, she said it's like the movie. So I'm like, I know Carrie. I'm gonna just stick with Carrie. Yeah. Shoot,
it's our
messed that up.
So, well, have a plan in place if I do have a heart attack. You know what? I'm ready to take it on. Like
a heart attack?
Like, yeah, me versus the heart attack. That's pay-per-view shit.
Oh
right there.
My gosh. You always want to verse something.
Bring it on. Yeah.
I always want to verse something.
Just as long as it doesn't happen in my sleep. Like I had I had a guy that I went to high school with, same age, died in his sleep, heart attack.
One of my classmates died in his sleep from a heart attack as well. Yep.
Yeah. And like, why? And like,
Sad.
did no one see you? Did you not twitch? Do you not know that you're having it? Don't you say help?
No, because like if I wasn't holding my grandmother when she had her heart attack, I wouldn't have known. If she was just sitting in her room like she normally was in her chair, I would have never known she had a heart attack until I walked in there because no noise is made. Like she didn't make a sound. She didn't make a gurgle. She didn't cry out. Like literally her body just went limp and her eyes rolled in the back of her head. So I know like my classmate, I remember his wife saying, I was sleeping right next to him. He made no noise. And she felt really bad for a long time. Like same thing. Like could I have done something? No, because there's no sound. You don't know they're having it.
No,
it's not like a seizure.
I always thought like your arm goes weird and then you start to feel it and then you grab your heart. Yeah, like it's in the movies. Huh?
That's what you're claiming, Sanford and Son, Red Fox. I'm going home, Olivia. Ugh.
Yeah,
it's not that dramatic.
Yeah,
it's not
like
dramatic. No, that's what Red Fox did on Sanford and Son.
My luck, people think I'm doing the Pledge of Allegiance. So
they will.
Look at that guy, real patriotic. Get him out of California. He doesn't belong here. All right, let's end this because I know you got to go. Listen to the BS on social. Do me a favor, you two peers. Can you share this, please? Remember that the merch store is open too. I know some of you want some of the merch from the radio show out here. It's available up on the TeePublic stuff, which is on our Facebook somewhere. I guess I could probably put it in a link in the main page or something like that. The newsletter, I got to put all those links actually. You know what? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that right after this. I'm going to put make a link tree with all the links like the TeePublic and the sign up for the newsletter.
Yeah, because you can connect your link trees to all the social media pages.
Yeah, we can do all that. I thought I had it up there, but I guess I don't. Anyway. All right. No, Nelson didn't join us. He was picking up his kids. We'll get through the rest.
Pick up my kid.
Get through the rest of the week on the radio show. Other than that, you got anything before we end this?
Let's not do any more verses.
No more verses.
No more verses. Let's stay alive.
All right. As always, you two peers, we appreciate the support. Wish me the best with trying to de-stress. If you have any suggestions, please throw it in the comments section, either on the YouTube channel at The Bailey Show or at Listen to the BS on all of our social media. Have a great, safe rest of your week. Until next time, and bye.
Get off my lawn. It's old man Kevin, and the BS is done for right now.
Please share, like, and support.
TheBaileyShow.com.
Now, get out of here.